welcome back to another video. Today's I'm talking about what if Hiruzen had lived toward Shippuden. Now, of course, Hiruzen does die or gets sealed off in his fight using the Reaper Death Seal against the Orochimaru when Orochimaru comes and attacks the Leaf. Now, in this what if, this still happens. Orochimaru still attacks the Leaf, but instead of Hiruzen using the Reaper Death Seal, he makes Orochimaru retreat as he seals off the two reanimated Hokage, and Orochimaru uses too much of his chakra, but enabling or at least putting Hiruzen out of commission for the rest of the first part of Naruto. Because let's be fair, if Hiruzen does stay at least in condition for the first part of Naruto, Sasuke's not leaving the village. He still probably dies. But in this what if, he's enabled and Tsunade still takes up the helm of the fifth Hokage, at least until Hiruzen is able to get better to retain his role. Now, so Sasuke still leaves the village. The plot still goes on single-handedly, still by itself. Now, once you get to the time skip of Naruto, it is pretty interesting because with Hiruzen alive, he is very much an old man. Now, he's still more powerful than Danzo, any of the legendary Seinen. I still think he could defeat Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade individually, not as them as a unit. But he is still very old and he was slowing up on his movements. What people really don't realize about Hiruzen, or at least we overlooked, is that he's an old man. He's not a Noki, where Noki's like one, where Noki kept himself in shape or at least is able to fight at a high level. Hiruzen wants to retire. He wants nothing to do with this Hokage position, but he knows if he were to ever give up the Hokage position, it would have to be to one of his students, because he knows what Danzo would do in that position. Now, since Danzo is still alive in the second part of Naruto, he still tries to use ways to usurp or at least go behind Hiruzen's back. Now, Hiruzen of course overlooks this as Danzo is his friend. Now, Hiruzen would die in Shippuden. No doubt in my mind, because the only thing Hiruzen would have is that Reaper Death Seal to even give him a chance against the enemies that Konoha would face. Of course, he would still be in the village, not even going out. So the first major villain he would face, at least in the Konoha, would be the Pain invasion arc, where Pain has to go attack the Leaf, just because, you know, Pain, Jiraiya is dead, why not? So if Pain attacks a Leaf and Hiruzen is there, Jiraiya dies, and he is able to send out that information to Hiruzen and them in the village to somehow stop Pain. Within that information, Hiruzen dies. Hiruzen dies to Pain. Now, we can obviously tell this because Pain, quite handily, single-handedly, kills Orochimaru. Like, he outclasses Orochimaru by a whole lot. He doesn't really outclass Jiraiya, because if Jiraiya, well, at least Pain states this, if Jiraiya had known his secret, Jiraiya would have defeated him in a strategic match. Jiraiya could not have overpowered Pain, but in a strategic match, Jiraiya would have beaten Pain. Now, with Hiruzen there during the Pain invasion, he dies. There's no doubt in my mind. He's old. His movements have slowed up. He cannot exhaust much of his power at all. Now, he would still go all out, but he just can't use as much of his power as he can. Now, we could still use his summonings, Monkey King Enma, Sage, his Sage Chakra to some extent. He can still use that against Pain, and it will give him a fair matchup, destroying most, if not all, paths of Pain. But let's be for real, the show's name is Naruto. So Hiruzen would still end up dying in this arc. Now, you can to Pain. Now, Hiruzen of course would be brought back to the Rinne, unless he uses the Reaper Death Seal on Pain, which would make no sense, because if he has the information, he would know that that this is not the real Pain. We're fighting basically, the caucuses of what Pain uses to fight. So he knows it's not the real Pain, so he doesn't use the Reaper Death Seal in this arc. So of course, Naruto still defeats Pain. Pain kills Hiruzen and is then promptly brought back by Nagato using the Rinne rebirth technique. So Hiruzen's still alive in Shippuden, of course. Now, within that, Danzo most likely dies. For example, I don't think Hiruzen would have let Danzo go as long as he did, especially with Shippuden going on, because he would have saw Danzo as a threat to the Leaf as of now. So he would have saw it, and especially if Danzo did not help in the Pain invasion arc, he would have killed Danzo, because he would have seen that, oh, he's just using this chance to usurp his power. And Hiruzen says, yeah, that's enough. So Danzo promptly dies after the Pain arc once Hiruzen is promptly alive. Now what changes, of course, is Hiruzen going towards the 5 Kage summit. Because now Sasuke is a wanted vigilante, wanted enemy of the Leaf, and of mostly of the great nations, of course. Hiruzen probably would have no qualms about killing Sasuke, but of course he would think about his promise and think about Itachi in that manner, so he would not have Konoha act to go after Sasuke. Of course, Naruto still does it because best friends, brothers, love, best friends. Yay, we want him back. Cool. But the 4 Kage, the Great Nation, the 4 Great Nation alliance within Naruto still are formed with Hiruzen headed. Now, Sasuke still goes with Obito to, of course, launch this war. The thing is, Sasuke would go into this arc thinking that he has to kill Danzo. Now, in this, what if Hiruzen kills Danzo, or at least he's tried for his crimes, right? If Sasuke is there, he would end up leaving just because this would be Sasuke physically exhausted from the Itachi fight, and Hiruzen would promptly knock him out just because Sasuke is not on that level, and Hiruzen still being an old man, he's still able to exhaust certain level of strength that Naruto and Sasuke is not there yet. They are not there to old man Hiruzen yet. Now, the thing is about Obito, or at least Tobi, Hiruzen probably would have figured out, because he's a prodigy in of itself too, would most likely figure out how to counteract Tobi's jutsu or Obito's jutsu, his Kamui. Alright, and at least deduce that, hey, he may have been a Leaf Shinobi, because Hiruzen is pretty smart. He would be like, one-eyed Sharingan. I know a dude with one-eyed Sharingan. His name was Kakashi. But Obito died. So, maybe he didn't die. We have nobody. So he would have figured out, or at least diagnosed that is Obito's capabilities, and that is Obito, under the mask. Since technically Hiruzen and Obito, Masked Man Obito, never had an interaction with each other, which is weird, right? Or at least no canon interaction, in my opinion. Besides when Obito was a kid, and of course he had 2 eyes and goggles. Now, within that, you would have to think about the 4th Great Ninja War. Now, you have a different lineup for when Madara is reawakened for the 4th Great Ninja War. Unless you think Obito ends up getting caught in the 5 Kage Summit just because Hiruzen is there to counteract and able to go toe-to-toe with Obito. But I think Obito does do a clean getaway and not try to waste his time fighting the 5 Kage, especially with Hiruzen still there. He still poses a threat. He's just not able to last long in a fight against Obito. I think if it's a lasting fight, Obito, or at least Master Man Obito, would win against Hiruzen. Now, here's the thing. Once you get to the 4th Great Ninja War, Hiruzen's dying. What would probably most likely happen with the 5 Kage is that now the 5 Kage has to go against Madara. And Hiruzen is a big help in his reanimated form against the Jubido, but he wouldn't live that long, because if the 5 Kage go up against Madara, Hiruzen's getting packed up. Now, of course, the Reaper Death, the reanimation jutsu is still undone by, reanimated Itachi. That still happens. But Hiruzen would most likely try to figure out a way, or strategically figure out a way, trying to see, oh, Madara is too powerful, even though he's not at his original power. Maybe you can Reaper Death Seal a reanimated shinobi into the belly of the beast. Which he would probably try to do, end up not working, and Hiruzen gives his life for no reason. Now, this is at this moment where Hiruzen would take up, or at least where Tsunade would take up the Kage role. At least, yeah, the Kage role, and joining in the fight where Hiruzen dies. That is the end of this what if, of course. Now with Madara, of course, still being prompted, still being alive, Orochimaru still does his thing, brings back the first, second, and now fourth Hokage, since Hiruzen would not be able to be brought back in this scenario, at least in the final stages of the fourth Great Ninja War. So that's where I'm going to end this what if. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.